Ready. And action! Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time again. Time for the man himself, Professor Victor Singingo! Yay! Right on, right on, right on. Well, today I have a special gift and a special treat for you. If you remember, we might have had a blood moon on the 14th, which was a Friday, or we're going to have a blood moon. This is, of course, a full moon, as we all know. Why am I even bringing this up? Well, let me slow down and back up for a sec, because you know I start tripping over my tongue when I talk too much. I might have mentioned before that a lot of cultures in the world, especially in the Far East, we're talking China, Mongolia, Japan, Vietnam, and all those areas of Siam, Cambodia, all that area, and Philippines. Instead of seeing a man in the moon, we see a rabbit in the moon. And again, I went to Asia, but I forgot to mention native North, Central, and South America. We see a rabbit in the moon. But we don't tell the story, do we? Nobody knows the story, but I do. Why? Because my grandmother and grandfather used to tell me lots of cool Indian stories when I was growing up. And now I'm going to share it with you. Are you ready? Here we go. Now you have to remember, I have harped on this story about the real people before. So I'm going to harp on it some more. I got to tell the story as quickly as possible. Here's some awesome AI. Remember I was telling you the story of Coyote Superglue. And I said that back in the ancient times, before the human beings were created, the animal people, we had deer people, fox people, eagle people, even tobacco people. There's a beaver people, beaver person. There's another beaver up there. Well, they could shimmy off their clothes or their furs and their scales or their feathers and be in the nude and do their ceremonies or whatever, go swimming or whatever the heck they're doing. And sometimes they would go look at each other and go, and they'd get it on and they'd make all kinds of weird, goofy creatures that we don't have enough time to talk about. We talked about this already anyway. The creator went to Coyote and said, hey, if you can't take better care of your pets, we'll have to give the job to somebody else. Maybe Wolf will take care. Chief Wolf can take better care of all the other animals. Coyote said, no, I'll do it, I'll fix it. Right? I'm supposed to be wearing the sunglasses to kind of get into the character, you see. All right. All right, I'll fix it. Say no more. And creator said, that's my boy. So I said that Coyote, the Spokanes call him Spilje, and I think in our book, our textbook on page 71, he's called Coyote. The point being is he figured out that he's going to make a special super glue. This is a AI rendition. As you know, I love to mess around with AI, and sometimes AI screws up, so I have to go back and clean up a mess. For some reason, this bird had super long legs. Maybe it's a secretary bird. Look it up. But it didn't have a head. I don't know why. And it was a big mess here, so I had to clean this up, and I took the eagle's head and I morphed it and colored it and stuck them on top because it was a headless bird. Never mind. And some other weird things I had to fix over here, like this creature had a wing. Maybe that was part of the miscegenation story or hybridization. But what I was telling you is that some animals actually agreed and said, okay. Coyote comes around, he comes to all the different animals, he says, hey, creator's a little bit annoyed with you guys. We're going to have to stick some super glue on your pelts so that when you put them on, you can't take them off anymore, okay? Most of the animals agreed. There were some who didn't. The ones who didn't, here are some. Well, this is another AI. It says Ative Super Glue Truckster. That's kind of cool. I think AI remembers that I'm also a truck driving professor, but never mind. We don't have enough time to go there. But what we are trying to say, here's a weird looking hybrid bird mole something. It's got uh, what do you call that? A mammal nose, and it's feathers, furry feathers, and it's perched on a tree. That's kind of cool. I have no idea what that is. But Coyote running around, these are maybe the animals who did not agree to have their pelts painted. So Coyote had to resort to some dirty tricks and wait for them, as I said before, to get naked somewheres and sneak up and paint their pelts. And then when they put them back on, they couldn't get out. The worst one of them all was Chief Rabbit. That's who we need to speak about today. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, before I get into it, I want to turn your attention to the Chinese version, which you can go up here. It's called Rabbit's Reward. It's on e-learning. It's above ours where it says saving for another story, you see. In the Chinese version, Rabbit is a little bit more heroic and selfless, but in our native version, Rabbit was naughty. He was a naughty boy. Let's keep rolling. Now, I asked AI to draw a rabbit, and it kept screwing up. And I said, all right, fine, just draw a Native American young male who was Chief Rabbit and put him in a rabbit costume. But what we're imagining, you see, is that Chief Rabbit has the ability to throw off his fur, get naked, and get busy. Well, he didn't necessarily get busy and get naked so much. He threw off his furs because he was a little blink, 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 bouncy thing, you see. And if there's fruits growing in the trees, Rabbit would have to take off that fur so he could stand up straight like a human being and grab that fruit and yum, 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 yum. And all he and all of his people could do the same thing. The problem again is they are eating up all the food. So all the other animals, oh, there's another, look at how cute. AI did a cute little, only problem is I don't know what it is with AI and hands and fingers. This one's got 6 fingers on one hand and maybe 5 or something on that one. But I still like the way AI draws for me sometimes. Anyway, back to the story. All the animals call a council. And again, I went to AI, and I don't know why it keeps putting humans in the picture because I told it not to. A lot of times AI is like a stubborn child. You tell it not to do something, and what does it do? The exact opposite. Anyway, the animals are angry with Rabbit, Chief Rabbit. And they call him and say, you and your people are eating up all the food. What are we going to do? And Coyote is especially angry. And Coyote says to Rabbit, you. I've got to put on the sunglasses. And I lost my sunglasses. Oh, well. Who knows what I did? Never mind.
You gotta stop eating up all the food. You gotta put on your fur and leave it on.
And Rabbit's like, huh? Says who? And I tried to capture this imagery. And no words need to be said here. What I'll probably have to do is go in and Photoshop, grab some of these creatures, especially Angry Coyote, put Coyote here on Angela Merkel's head, and put Rabbit over here on Mr. Orange Man. Even made him orange. That's kind of cool. And got the wig and everything. Put his head on this dude's, and then maybe get rid of some of these people, but have all the other animals staring at him angrily, you see, because this is a council, an interspecies council. Ooh, that guy looks really mad. And they're mad at Rabbit. And they're trying to get Rabbit to stop eating up all the food, he and his people. Now, we'll get to this in a second, you see, because there are many, many, many stories of Rabbit insulting everyone at the council, calling them pipsqueaks and worms, and they're like, well, we're going to starve if you don't stop multiplying and making so many rabbits and eating up all the food. He said, well, then starve, he said to all the other animals.
My people are the greatest and the strongest, you say?
So he hops off. And the other animals, I don't know why AI gave Fox antlers. Who knows? Anyway, the animals had many run-ins with Rabbit trying to catch him, and Rabbit oftentimes would kill his adversaries. But he forgot about Coyote, because Coyote is unkillable. He is the creator's second in command. If you read page 71 in our textbooks here, Why Indigenous Literatures Matter, there's a discussion of Coyote's immense power. He's also a fool and a trickster at the same time. We mentioned that before. We'll mention it some more another time. Eventually, though, the animals finally catch him. There's a story, one story, they say it's from African American culture. It might be, but possibly a hybridization of African American and Native American culture from the South, which was very common. I don't have enough time to talk about it right now, but there is that, called Tar Baby. And they created a creature, a weird-looking, man-looking black creature out of tar, and the rabbit picked a fight with it, and of course lost because it's made out of tar, and he got stuck in it, and the animals caught him, and they're debating what are they going to do with him. Now, I like this one better. This is also AI rendition, of course, and here's Coyote holding Rabbit. For some reason, it drew a Native American human male, so I took Fox's head from here and I superimposed it there because the human beings weren't really a thing yet. They were just being made. Now, hang on for a second while I do the rope thing again. Because you see, I might have my nose. I don't know where I put them. All right. We're taking a quick break as we discuss coyote, bear, fox, and rabbit. I think in the South they call them brer bear, brer fox, and brer rabbit. So bruh actually is the real word. Bruh fox and bruh rabbit, bruh coyote. Well, they caught him and they're debating. Bear says, I think we need to knock his head clean off.
Fox said, I think we should fricassee him and fry him up.
And you see he's got a long tail here. There's a reason for that. I like how AI instinctively knew that Rabbit used to have a long tail because when they caught him, they actually pulled his tail off. You know, when they caught him, pulled him off the tar baby, they actually broke his tail, and that's why Rabbit has a little stubby tail nowadays. But as they're debating whether or not what they're gonna do with Rabbit, they're gonna kill him, obviously. But Rabbit says, no, don't kill me, please don't kill me, please don't kill me, I have an idea, I have an idea. And the other animals, all right, what are you going on about? And Rabbit says, well, you see, I've seen these human beings. They're really pitiful. They don't have fur. They don't have scales. They don't have feathers. They don't have claws. They don't have teeth. They don't have anything. They can't take care of themselves. They're so pitiful. They're naked. They're the true without furs. And I think that we need to do something, get something for them. We got to take care of them because this is the Creator's newest creation, and there's something sacred going on. And all the animals are like, got a point there. And so, what you got in mind, Rabbit? Rabbit says, well, you see, well, I know I've been a bad boy, but you've got to have mercy on me. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll give human beings, these new humans, these without furs, the real people, they have no way of taking care of themselves or fending for themselves. I'll give my body to them. I'll give myself to them. They can, because rabbits, we're slow, but we're kind of fast, but we're also kind of slow, but we're easy to catch. And I'll make it so that it's easy for us to catch. And I'll make it so that they can eat our eat our flesh, and they can use our furs and make coats and jackets and clothe themselves. And Coyote says,
Good idea.
so Coyote punishes Rabbit and blesses Rabbit at the same time by banishing him to the moon. He says,
All right, Chief Rabbit, you go to the moon.
why? Because in our tradition, what happens to the chief of the animals happens to all the animals. So if they killed Chief Rabbit, all the other rabbits would become extinct. But by sticking Rabbit up on the moon, he can never get killed. He can be chased by the Moon Man, or the Chief Moon, or Moon Chief, I should call him, but he'll never get killed because he's the chief. And now he's an immortal, but he's punished because he's up there all by himself. Later on, he meets Ishel, but that's another story we don't need to talk about right now. So this is the story. Now I'm going to scroll down and show you what I mean by Rabbit in the Moon. Because a lot of natives and folks from Asia see Rabbit in the Moon. And here is a nice depiction where you can see his eye there. And I remember the first time, and his tail's being pulled off. That's why it looks a little detached from his body. But I remember the first time I heard this story. You know, as a little kid, they used to say, oh, the man in the moon, the man in the moon. I'd always look up at the moon. Oh, yeah, I can see the man in the moon smile at me. But as soon as I heard this story from my grandparents, I never could see the man in the moon anymore. I could see the rabbit. See, there's his ear and his hunchy back and his tail coming off his back legs and his front legs. And there's a little rabbit eye there. And that's kind of cool. So, yeah, that's the story of how Rabbit defied the orders from the Creator and Coyote and caused a lot of mischief, got captured by all the animals, and as a punishment for his bad behavior and also a blessing, he was banished to the moon. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Thank you so much for listening to me. Hope you have a good rest of the week. Study hard for the midterm and Pop Quiz B. Thank you again for being so patient with me. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. 18 minutes. Stop!